Hey everybody, it's Mr. Cinema Junkie in my new surroundings. I'm actually in Chicago. Had to make a trip out here and I'm borrowing my uncle's camera. I've never used one of these before. They look pretty neat. It's supposed to be HD, letterbox and all that good stuff. And I can see myself for once. I can actually see myself while I'm doing this. You can do it on a webcam, of course, but this is pretty neat and I like it. So anyways, the reason for the video, before I left I had meant to do a review and I didn't get around to doing it. So here it is. Better late than never. This is my review for Saw 7. Keep it down. I know. I saw. I understand. To say it's a movie that you either like or you don't, that goes for every movie. You either like it or you don't. I don't think anybody ever sits in the middle of the road going, I don't know. Yeah. But Saw has definitely has its share of camps. You know, the people who are totally for it and the people who are completely against it. So since I'm saying there's no middle ground, I guess I'm for it because I like the Saw movies. I like it. Yeah, they become basically just a collection of different ways to off people, but so what? Big deal. I mean, that's fine. What's wrong with seeing that? But there is a storyline there, and I will admit that in some of the parts they do kind of get off base a little bit, but it's okay. They got back on track. I'm fine with that. Saw 7. You know, if you haven't seen any of the Saw movies, it's basically this guy is trying to teach everybody the moral high road and how to appreciate their life and how not to take things for granted. And he points out all the wrongdoings and all the things they've done wrong, and now they're put to a decision as to how they're going to if they're going to survive or not. And he puts them in these traps, which usually means death for them if they don't make it out. And if they do make it out, supposedly they're supposed to have like a new outlook on things. They're supposed to be better people. So that's a little rundown for like the entire Saw series right there. There were some, like with any movie, there were some weak points. There were some parts where I was kind of like, what? For one thing, there's a scene you've seen it in the trailers if you've seen the Saw 7 trailer, Saw 3D trailer, I should say. It's when they're out in a public, like a public square, and they're all in a room with shatterproof glass, and everybody out on the street can look inside and see them. This trap is basically set up to where these guys have to pull saw blades into one another to keep the girl that's suspended above them from falling onto the saw blade that's right in the middle. She's been cheating on both of them with each guy. So, in order to save her, one of them has to kill the other guy. And she's still playing them. She's still up there suspended, you know, like Jesus on the cross, basically. She's just spread out and she's hanging above the saw blade. The only thing I had about it was here's the few problems I had with that scene. Number one, who are these people? I'm used to these traps being set for people that kind of tie into other people from other movies, from other parts of the movie, and I don't know who these people were. It was just, you know, well, I got nothing better to do today. I guess I'll teach these people a lesson. That kind of threw it off because I'm I kind of defend the fact that even though Jigsaw is dead, he could have had the foresight to plan out certain things for certain people, but they all have to be connected. Okay, after you deal with this person, go to this person. I have this stuff set up. Then I want you to construct this trap for this person because he's tied in this way. That I can understand. But these two people, these three people, I should say, who are they? You know, I got a little time on my hands. I guess I'll just, you know. And while you're at it, go teach somebody a random lesson about it, appreciating life and appreciating each other. Also, the other problem I had with it had this really weird feel to it. And I don't want to give anything away, but the two guys pretty much come to a realization in this thing, and their delivery of the whole thing was kind of like, eh. You know, it just sounded so sappy. And then after the kill, after, you know, because somebody always dies in these things. After the kill, I kept getting this overpowering feeling that Chris Angel was going to pop out of nowhere and go, "You've been mind freaked. Are you ready?" That's what it looked like. It looked like a Vegas magician's act. But you get to see some familiar faces in this one. There were just little things, like I said, little things that just kind of made me go, "Come on, man! You know, this is supposed to be the last Saw movie." But I'm not buying that one because they don't end it on a note that tells you, "Yeah, mission accomplished. We're done. We don't need to do this anymore. We've done his work for him. May his memory live on forever. We're done." It ends more on a note of like, there's a lot more work to be done, and eventually somebody's going to pick up this torch and run with it. Just know that. This is not the final Saw movie. I don't buy that for a minute. Just like Friday the 13th, the final chapter was supposed to be the final chapter. You sir. And this one follows a guy who has written a book about surviving Saw. He survived the trap, and therefore he has a new outlook on life. He has a focus group. He has he drives people to be better than they are, and he uses his experience being tested by Jigsaw to show others how to be better people. And he's made millions of dollars, and he's living the good life on it. The thing is, he was never in the traps. He was never tested. He's a fake. He's a liar. And this is why he gets singled out. And they show where him and Jigsaw actually crossed paths before. See, that stuff I'm fine with, because it shows that he knows the guy. He knows who he is. He has something planned for him. Why is that so hard to believe, that he planned this stuff out, even in the event of his death? If you're meticulous enough, you can plan anything out. Let me tell you something. I can I can defend this very easily because I can defend the idea that someone from the future can send their comrade in arms back to a time to protect their mother from being killed, and he winds up stooping his mother and becoming his father. I mean, if he's supposed to be his father, if he becomes his father, then that means he hadn't met his mother yet because he didn't get sent back in time, so then he shouldn't exist. I mean, and nobody seems to have a problem with that. You can suspend disbelief for that. So what the hell? I'll suspend a little disbelief here and say that he was meticulous enough to plan this stuff out. So that I dug about the movie. I like the fact that he did this, and some of these kills were pretty awesome. They had a thing about stabbing in this one, something about sharp pipes being stuck in the throat and the eyes and stuff like that. The traps were about stabbing, basically. And there were some were a little over the top, but the payoff was righteous. He actually gets one person in a gigantic oven, and the oven just forms itself around like a damn transformer, and he cooks the person alive. So if you're a fan of you know, the torture porn, as they call it, you know, you're not going to be let down by this movie. Not much. What I think though is that there's, like I said, this Saw has made two camps, for and against. Take into consideration, Saw franchise, that there are people who will go to see your movies. Don't jerk them around and use cheap tactics by saying things like, "It's the final one." Because then you know people are going to run to see it because it's the final one. Don't use cheap gimmicks like 3D. The 3D in this was so unnecessary. So unnecessary. I didn't even see it in 3D, and it's not like I was really even missing anything. I think there was maybe between 2 and 4 scenes where I could see that the 3D was actually incorporated. And I can't see anybody paying. They pay upwards of like $5 to $10 more for a ticket to see a movie in 3D. I couldn't see paying that much for the little bit of 3D that was in there. The movie would have been fine without it. So come on, show a little respect, guys. We're the fans. We're the people who make these movies popular. We're the ones who stick by them no matter what. So don't do that. But overall, I have to say yes, I did like Saw 7, and I'm glad I got to see it, and I'm really glad I got to see it with my son, who's also a fan of the Saw movies. So it's one I will be owning because I own the other 6 parts. So why wouldn't I own part 7? Do I recommend it? Sure I do. With the underlying knowledge that I recommend it to people who are already fans of the movies. I don't think it's going to turn anybody onto the Saw movies if they're not already turned onto it by now. 6 parts and you're still not into it, you're not going to be into it after part 7. But that's my little review, which was actually kind of a long review. And I talk a lot in these things, don't I? I'll try to shut up next time. Keep it short. Keep it under 5 minutes. Maybe not. Well, coming at you semi-live from Chicago, Illinois, it is I, Mr. Cinema Junkie, wishing you all the very best.